I had a contract lined up and it got pulled from us sort of thing. I've never had a stressful week until then, realising that I've just bought this machine for this job and it doesn't exist now. Everybody and anybody heard from me that week. I was on the phone to people about subdivisions in Brisbane. And I'm in Western Australia going, yeah, do you need a digger? I'll be there. Like, if you've got to go to the bathroom sort of thing, you've got to call up, get a swap out.
If you have a $30 million digger, which those 9800s I think are about 30 million, you can't have that be down for a bloke to take a piss.
Everybody goes, oh, you must be doing well for yourself. Just bought a digger, did you? Mate, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm drowning in debt. I'm hoping someone pays.
My office opens at 6 a.m. and this girl this morning texted before 6:01 and said, hi, I have a new customer starting today. I promised we would get his dirt done. Could you please check on those trucks? Now, you can't teach that. You can't teach someone to want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, the want that she had to text about that before 6:01. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're here with Jimi Trengove. That's Grove without the R, I've just learned. From Dirt Cartel in Perth, or well, around Perth, aren't you? Down south a little bit.
Correct, yeah.
Say g'day.
G'day, how you going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, perfect. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing.
Just gone out on my own recently, a couple months, 6-7 months ago now. Jumped straight in the deep end. Didn't go with the small machine, went with the bigger one to start, and then just, pursued that sort of thing. Messaged yourself, asked about them, and just having a red hot crack.
Perfect. That's how we like it. So explain a little bit about what you're doing. You know, I know that you've just said you've moved from pulling on the sticks some days and sent it out on dry hire a little bit to try and, fill some gaps. And
yeah, for sure. So it's not always wet hire works. It's a pretty competitive market over our way. I'm sure it's similar here. So, just been just switching up, being versatile really. So we didn't want to put a brand new machine out to dry hire. It's terrifying, especially it's the most amount of money I've ever spent on anything. You can give it away to someone to use for a bit, so it's nerve-wracking. But sometimes we get wet, sometimes we get dry, and we combo between both.
I know at the start when I was speaking to you a little bit as well, you were saying to me like you went out on a wing and a prayer and and bought a digger. Just to give some background to the people, we ended up touching tips about buying Sani. You've gone with a Sani machine. We'll talk about that experience in a little bit, but you went out and then you didn't have any work for it. And then all of a sudden you started asking everyone on the internet, I think, if they had any work or any contacts.
Yeah, anybody and everybody messaged everyone. Something about 6,000 phone calls I made in that 2 week span there where I couldn't get – I had a contract lined up and it got pulled from us sort of thing.
So what was that contract?
That was like a really good one for like a long-term mining one coming up on like a big build. And no need to use names, but a lot of us got undercut by certain – bigger people sort of thing, and they took the bulk of that work. So it was a lot of us subbies all going in on that, and that didn't go to plan. I've never had a stressful week until then, realising that I've just bought this machine for this job and it doesn't exist now sort of thing. So, everybody and anybody heard from me that week. I was on the phone to people about subdivisions in Brisbane. And I'm in Western Australia going, do you need a digger? I'll be there. Like, let's go, because we had to find something. And then... it all come to light eventually,
And so what was the job you ended up finding?
We got a job in a location about 110 kilometres north of Perth, Lancelin sort of thing.
But aren't you south of Perth?
Yeah.
And you say you're pulling the sticks there?
Yeah.
So then how far was that spin? Did you go stay
about
there?
350 Ks from where I'm from.
Yeah, that's not small distance. You're not driving that in the morning but with a cup of coffee.
No, I just moved up there straight away. So, just got up and went up there, found a rental, moved into that. Was there 6 days a week, swinging, digging.
Perfect. And good job, shit job?
Good and bad. Money coming in, that's good. Job-wise, a little bit frustrating, but it's all part of it, isn't it? You're not going to have the cream straight up.
Yeah, no, definitely not, especially whenever, you're sort of having to pull a rabbit out of a hat to say,
I'd pull a hat out first to then find the rabbit.
I'm a bit fucked at the minute. I don't have a job and I just bought a new digger, and it's not like you ever buy a digger with heaps of money. It's not like you've got like...
See, that's a good point actually. No one really covers that. you know, everybody goes, "Oh, you must be doing well for yourself. Just bought a digger, did you?"
No,
and they're like, "Yeah, like you know, you must have started that with full 500 grand behind you, mate." I don't know what you're talking about. I'm drowning in debt. I'm hoping someone pays. It's the 30th of the month, and I'm sitting there going, "Is it still? I just need to check." Like, you definitely got that invoice. Like, you're peaking.
I've spoken about that a little bit here. Like, and then these people put out, you know, you need 2 years worth of income or a year worth of income or revenue sitting in your bank account for a rainy day. And I'm like, ooh. There was times at the start when I reckon I had a week's worth of income.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
and if it rained one day, I'm in shit. And so but so you're in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, I was for sure. I was shitting myself. That's the honest truth. Went in with an idea to buy a 20-tonner, left with a 36-tonner. Twice the size machine, should make twice as much money. Didn't work out like that at all. But so we got the job and basically it was that what would the word be? I've gone from working away to having like consistent income to 60 days that felt like 60 years.
So give us a bit of your background in the industry. Tell us what you were doing.
Yep.
So that people know that, you weren't a pastry chef and then decided to go buy a 36-ton.
Yeah, good point.
But even so, I have had, it was just yesterday, wasn't it, Louis? I had a guy who was a chef that turned into, and then he started his own company. So it takes all sorts. But what's yours?
I started on a shovel, hand digging with Atco gas. So we used to dig these connection trenches years ago. I was about 19, I think, and just hand digging. And then they had a massive digger there. They had a 1.8 tonner, big one.
Yeah, shit.
I got the gig on that.
Did you need a special license for that one?
You did. Yeah, it's serious stuff. So I managed to get on that for these longer digs sort of thing, and then just slowly climbed through that over the years. Moved to Sydney for a little bit, dug over there. I think we went all the way to about a 20-tonner there.
Fuck, big dog.
Big diggers. And then we went through that stage, moved back to WA by about 22, I think, 23, and went into mining from there sort of thing and started in the big dog game, the production stuff.
So what did you get up to there? Because it's like levels, yeah? So they start you off in 125 tonne or something like that?
It's dependent on where you are. So certain sites have different size machines, things like that. Mainly gold, they use like your 1250s to 200. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they'll have 400s for your strip, but really, in my experience anyway, that's kind of the size range they've got there. In iron ore, it can be as big as it can get.
Yeah.
It's the heat. Your Hitachi 8000s, your 9800 Liebherrs. Maybe I think a PC 7000, a Komatsu. I might be wrong there. I've never been in the Komatsus of that size, but
what are the cats? Are the 60
60-60s?
60-60s, 60-40s?
Yeah. It just goes from there, and then it's about just slew and dirt.
So what did you get up to? What was the biggest size you ended up spending?
I've spent some time in a 9800, but most of my time was spent in a 56 or a 9600 Liebherr.
So about 500 tonne class. Is that right?
Yeah, 600, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of my time was spent in.
And what did you end up digging? Like, were you in gold?
We were in iron ore there. So I was with Rio Tinto then. Did some time with BHP. I even did a little bit of time with Macca and some time at Roy Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of civil works there as well. Like we're just diving right into your whole life. Next I'm going to ask you your blood type.
Yep. Wouldn't have a clue. dirt positive. Yeah.
And so you go there, and why would you go out? Because from everyone who doesn't do mining, and we're all looking at it, you blokes earn too much money.
Apparently we do.
You guys are on huge wickets, spending all of your time in, Bali or riding your jet skis or. I
was on it yesterday. Just before I come, I honestly was.
And so what made you go out in 36 ton?
I think there was patches in between when I was working in mining. For a bit, I lost my license, so I couldn't work away up there. So I was working down home. I was doing drainage. That was a good sized digger. They had a 40 tonner. They had a 30 tonner, and the boys that were doing that were making really good money in comparison to running their own subby game over our way. And so I had this grand idea that I'd had enough working away. I'd had enough from being away. kind of had enough of the rules as well, to be honest. It's good, but it is a little bit over the top.
Such as?
It's just like how would you describe it? It's really intense and you can't tell people exactly how you feel. It's a good way to put it.
I know you were saying this morning, which we can talk in a minute about where we went this morning. I know you'll have some ideas about that. But we were talking this morning about having to take a piss.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell people what it's like to take a piss?
Rightio. So like
that'll explain what you're saying a little bit.
Okay, yeah, fair point.
You're welcome.
So if not, maybe not taking a piss, but if you've got to go to the bathroom sort of thing, you've got to call up, get a swap out. I mean, some people go to the bathroom below the tracks. Some people don't do that. So, you've got to call control, or call up your mine 2, mine 3. They're going to have to send someone out to swap you out. If you've got to go down that road, if it's bad enough sort of thing, your hot seating plans and things that can really stuff things up. Your hot seating's like you swap out for lunches and stuff like that. So there's a whole dynamic in just being able to go to the bathroom sort of thing. It's a lot of, what would you call it? I can't think of the word of what you call it there. You've got me good, but
but the rules around it, like even to the point where about going to the bathroom, I think is sort of what you're saying, and then you add, how you have to act at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, how you have to act during like the flights.
You can't just go, no, that's a shit idea. You can't say that. You're going to upset someone. It wasn't always like this. Don't get me wrong, but towards the end of me being there, it was just pretty full on with
had you made it
nonsense.
Like you say Roy Hill and you say this, had you made it into these sites which like they're the biggest sites in Australia, let's say, like they are, and if some of them would be touching on the biggest earth moving jobs in the world, you might have to have some of those things. It gets down to the point 100%, that if you have a $30 million digger, which those 9800s I think are about 30 million, you can't have that be down for a bloke to take a piss.
No, exactly.
And so it only makes sense that they have that. But when you get part of that circle that's going around and then, it sounds all good. We sit here and we say 30 million. Can't be down for an hour for you to jump in a car, go somewhere, but maybe take a piss or a shit and then come back. So we got to hot seat it. Yeah. How do we hot seat it? Well, we can't rely on the fact that the hot seat's ready. So now we're going to put in the protocols for the hot seat to be ready so that this digger, the ladder comes down, someone walks down, someone walks up, the ladder goes in, and as soon as you're far enough away, bang, done. Let's start again. And it sort of makes sense. But from it sounds like your perspective when you're in it, fuck it, shit, having to ask everyone to take a piss.
It's just exactly right. You've got like, say Rio Tinto. They've got a majority of sites up there. I reckon they're probably one of the bigger guys. Some of these mine sites, you've got deposit A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way to I think they're at H now. These things are 40, 50 kilometres in their operation just on that site sort of thing to go from one side to the other. And that. So with all of that, there comes a lot of, what would the word be, just procedures in place and things like that. You've got autonomous trucks flying around. So the rules and the procedures are good, like to keep people safe.
The safety.
However, it's sometimes it gets a bit over the top. Like they're definitely necessary. I'm not taking anything from that.
They're going to tell you how to peel an orange next because, there was once a guy who hurt himself peeling an orange.
Well, 100%.
And now we have to, you have to eat it this way.
Yep.
I've been on, maybe not sites to that level, but I have been on, I know when I was building up, I'd go for a site and, very often in the early days, no one to be there, no temporary fencing, no nothing, no toilet, no anything, no. And then you get up to the bigger sites and then they're asking you to do a take 5 and you go,
you've already signed on to your JHA though, haven't you?
Yeah, of course you have. Yeah. And so then you're sitting down and going, what's the take 5? And then they go, we want you to have 3 take 5s per day. And then you go, okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, you sign on to your safety paperwork at the start of the day, but during the day those tasks may change. And then they say that when those tasks change, you take 5 to write down the risks, the controls and everything else like that so that you can have the safest work site possible. But if you've got the task haven't changed and you've signed on to a pretty comprehensive safety plan at the beginning of the day, the fact that they're making you do 3 take 5s means that when the real take 5s happen, they're sort of redundant a little bit.
It becomes a tick and flick. And it's really, that's one of the things there. say you got dropped to your machine in the morning, so you weren't driving, but if you're doing a hot seat, say you've got a driving in the pit, take 5. Then you've got you've done a pre-start on that vehicle, so you've got to take 5 for the pre-start on the vehicle. But then I'm going to get there and do a hot seat swap out with old mate. He's waiting there. We swap out. I've got to do a walk-around inspection, but you need to have a take 5 for that walk-around inspection because that's a new task. Then you're heading up into
With that, though, like I know that they teach you and train you to do some other, to what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't inspect a 600-ton digger in 5 minutes unless the fucking arm's fallen off.
I'm not a fitter either.
And you're not a mechanic?
No, it turns out I'm not.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I thought I only employed operator mechanics here.
That's what they'd assume. But I know a small amount. I'm not ever going to claim I'm a fitter or a mechanic.
But even so, if I know for myself, like if you say you've got a leak, well, that leak could be the aircon condenser, dripping water.
Yep.
But if someone saw that who didn't know and hadn't been trained, what are they going to say? They're going to say they're going to leak, call up the
we're pissing hydraulic fluid out of the flux capacitor.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what the hell it's going to be sort of thing.
Yep.
And that's, I suppose, the good part you bring up. You get trained and you get shown and you get new people new to industry, which is definitely important because you need newer people coming through. Some of these people that will come through, they mean well, they're doing their absolute best, but they're not nut job passionate weirdos that absolutely love dirt.
Who's a nut job passionate weirdo who loves dirt?
People like myself. There's a few people in WA, we're all a bit weird about it. We love it.
Yeah.
But, you're not going to have that same passion behind what these people are doing sort of thing, or like ourselves and others. So you're going to have those faults there. And it just makes for a painful environment of you kind of got all these rules in place, like you say, about the orange, for these people that kind of just aren't there, but they're there to make up the numbers sort of thing. Mm. And it just...
But it takes all sorts too, yeah. No, even Michael Jordan needed someone to pass him the ball.
100%.
Which I think that he was pretty good too.
Turns out he was all right, eh?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there are some bench warmers sometimes, and that bench needs to be warm.
Correct.
So you've left. You've decided to take a leap because you lost your license. You've gone digging drainage, and so you see the bright light.
I see a bright light.
You see it's up here, and you're like, this guy's making $10,000 a week.
Yeah, 100%. That's pretty much the case. Was just going, hang on, what are you doing? And
you're on
I'm home every night. I'm getting to surf in the afternoon. Like it's not like
you're a surfer. You don't say with that haircut.
No, I've just grown it out for the show. But you're getting your afternoon back or something you haven't had before, and it was like a little taste of the glory. Like, oh.
And you're not getting told how to eat your orange.
Well, yeah, fuck your orange.
Yeah. So then, 100%. So then, what do you do?
Well, to make things funnier, I end up going back to mining for a little bit longer just to drag it out. But I've had a little taste of it, trying to do my own little thing. I didn't have a machine then. I was just working, swinging someone else's at that stage. Went back to mining, enjoyed it for a little bit longer, went into supervising, really discovered how painful that can be. And yeah, with the last job there, just everything went to, finally that was the straw that broke the camel's back going, nah, fuck this, I'm going out and doing it.
Hell yeah.
And that's when I messaged yourself, I think. It was like, I'm looking at Sannies. What do you think of them? And you went, yeah, good. And I went, all right, sweet, I'll buy one.
Yeah, I'm not having any problems with the Sanny.
Yeah.
But I should clarify that. I'm not having any problems with the Sannies that I wouldn't or haven't had with other brands as well.
Yeah.
There's good models, bad models. There's, machines that swing better than other machines, or there's, to give you an example, I had a restriction of one of my hydraulic attachments that I put on it through the arm. We had to upgrade the return line for a bigger thickness, and then there was no problem.
Was this on a Sunny?
Yeah.
Was this on the 36?
Yeah.
I reckon I've got the same issue. I've had to run it on the shear option rather than the hammer option, and my flow meets what I need.
And does it work?
Yeah, it works sweet.
Yeah, I didn't like that, so I upgraded. It's the return hose on the digger.
Yeah, correct.
So the return hose is just in case anyone wants to get right into it. Yeah, I believe that they're about 1.25 inches, and they need to be about 1.5 inches for the breakers that we run here.
Yeah.
they need just a bit less back pressure in them, or a bit more return flow. So upgrade that pipe, and bing bada boom, go to your Sani rep and be like,
I'm running. The moment I get home, I'm running and tell them I've solved it for the right price. Make some money out of this.
Yeah. So then you messaged me.
Yeah, I didn't actually know who you were. It's just crazy to claim, but I didn't have a clue. It was a bloke. I went and looked at one of these machines, and he said, "You should look this guy up on Instagram. His name's Jimi. He's just bought a heap of them." I was like, all right, I'll see what he's all about. And I started looking at him from that, and that's when I went, might as well just ask him. He's bought it. Sent you a message and gone, are these any good? Like, have you had any issues?
Yeah. They cost a heap less. They still load trucks. They turn on every morning. I haven't had too much of an issue with them. Sorry for interrupting this episode. I may as well do my own ads on here rather than just having YouTube ads. ConExpo has its last discount code up now. It's going to last all the way to the expo. It's Starbucks 20 and get you 20% off of your tickets. So don't buy them at full price. Look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks. We're still on you buying Sani.
Oh, yeah, Sani. Got the message from a bloke named Rhett to say, hey, you should look up Jimi. Looked you up, sent you the message. You've gone, yeah, all good. So then I've just kind of gone to the shop, which I don't think they took me serious. I mean, you normally go in for a chat to go, hi, how you going? I'm here to look at this machine. And I went in there and just went, that one. And the guy's kind of looking at me like, what? Are you serious? Yeah, that one. How long till it's ready? And he's like, oh, yeah, we'll sort it out, mate. And again, I don't think anyone's clicking. No one's writing anything down. They're just thinking I'm window shopping. And I wasn't. I wasn't pre-approved either at the time. I just knew I'd make it work sort of thing.
Yeah, you'll be right.
Yeah, because a friend of mine said to me, Isa is his name. He said, the easiest thing you'll ever do is get a digger, which it was. It was way easier than it should have been. To get it if you're thinking about it. It was like, hang on, what? Bang, boom, approved. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll take your money. And we'll take it every month. I'm going to take a lot of it. Getting the work was the part he said you should look into more. I kind of skipped that. I thought,
yeah, but we focused on how easy the finance was going to be to get.
Yeah.
So then you get delivered and the contract rug gets pulled out from underneath you and now you're fucked.
Yeah, and you definitely don't have like we said, the $500,000 behind you like you should or you're meant to. So, yeah, we went down there. The machine was built mine spec by Wadham Equipment. They got it all good to go. Had no issues with it at all besides the issue we spoke about, the piping. But
you didn't know it was the piping. You found a jailbreak for it.
Yeah, we used the shear option. And you wind up your pumps to suit, and that the only things you've got to convert. I'm going to get this wrong here. You've got to convert your PSI to MPa conversion on the calculator there to then put it in right, so you don't blow the arse end out of the hammer.
That's always Google
search.
Yeah, you can see why I just wanted to fix the pipe and not convert it and have different hammers, and because we have all sorts of. We try to keep machines dedicated. Stuff, but, hammer swap over, operator swap. And so then you can be left in a bit of a pickle when a guy rings up and says that there's hydraulic oil covering the chisel now and you're having a bad day and, hey, it's a $30,000 rebuild.
Yep. What's a hammer cost for your 50?
Oh,
100 and something?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
It depends on.
You've got oil coming out the bottom of that. You're going to be sitting there going, great day.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying, some of the repairs and the maintenance that happens, but it's all right.
Yeah.
And so we may as well go into this morning. And
what a crack up. What an introduction to Melbourne. Thank you.
No problem. Tell everyone what happened then.
All right, so the nicest way I can put this. Jimi, I met Jimi this morning. Great morning. We've got to go here to a golden shovel ceremony.
The turning of the dirt ceremony at a new apartment building, terrace, townhouse.
In what I assume is upper class Melbourne.
Upper class Melbourne, yeah. Correct.
Very, I don't know the word for it there, but very yuppie-like area.
Yeah, they're not surfers, I don't reckon.
Yeah, no, they're not feral, that's for sure. So we go to the site. Basically, we've got to be there early because it's starting early. So we're, quite the pace to get there. We get there It's also a heat wave in Melbourne today. It's the hottest day possibly on record. But so we're there standing, waiting around for somewhat of an hour, do you reckon? Maybe a little bit longer?
Yeah, most likely an hour.
Yeah, standing there waiting for a couple of people who, not sure exactly what they've done, but they seem to have claimed they've worked quite hard to get it sorted.
It is a difficult to sort of big, expensive building in the upper east side of Melbourne, I suppose. And so then they had golden shovels there, and then they all stand around and take their photos.
Yeah, we wait for everyone to say their part, their speech. Then you've had to hop in a dig. I've never seen a man so excited with a big smile on his face as he's taking this bucket of dirt.
Yeah,
one bucket of dirt we waited around for. You've then slewed to your left, placed it out nicely, and then you've proceeded to slew back the other way, track backwards, bucket down, turn it off. We waited around for about an hour and a bit for that sort of thing, and then we beelined out of there.
100% we did.
Really happy for everyone there. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Don't send me the email for the next one. I'll probably be busy or I'll miss that one. But no, I haven't been to one, so I can tick it off the list.
We drove around and I spoke non-stop on the phone, which was nice.
Yeah, it was great.
We won't talk too much about the deals there that are on the phone if possible for the...
No, we can leave them out as long as I'm involved in them.
And then we went around in circles and then now we're here talking on a podcast.
Yeah, no, it's good.
An interesting morning you've had.
Yeah, something else, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been very politically correct about the fact that he thought that the which is really nice of him, the shovel ceremony was a waste of time in his mind. But I did say to him, the amount of effort it takes of a lot of people to be able to get some of these buildings to stack up, work, be sold, design, blah, 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 and then to actually be something that the council approves. It can be worth celebrating with a golden shovel.
I mean, I'm happy for him. They had a coffee machine,
Yep.
juices.
Did you get a free coffee?
I didn't get a coffee. I got a juice, though. It was quite nice.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you for the juice. Thanks for having me.
No.
But like you say there's obviously a lot of work in the background to do something like that. But fuck me, it was boring. Sorry, but yeah, I was standing there like, what are we doing? But no, that's also, I suppose that's something maybe to come. I'll end up being in a few more of them maybe in Perth if I grow, maybe.
It ends up being a bit difficult because, from my journey, starting off in a small machine and everything else like that, if you told me one day I was going to be at a golden shovel ceremony, I would have told you you were an absolute psycho and it's never going to happen.
Well,
why would I do it?
You sent me that media thing that I read last night and I'm going, what the hell? And then if you think about it from where you are now to and then, Jimi's star, we'll start the digger and take the first bucket. It's all written out like this is a big thing. You'd started off going, no, I can dig your pool out for you.
No, I used to dig. So my first jobs I had was boundary shafts. So upgrading, you know how you got your little inspection opening for your sewer in the back corner of your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they would degrade or need to be changed, I'd go there and I'd dig the hole for the plumber to do that.
And now look at you, the golden shovel.
Now I've peaked. I'm at a golden shovel ceremony.
Someone, I forget their name, but they're really nice. Some of the staff I met down there. I can't remember, but one of the girls was saying that those shovels are about $500 a shovel.
You're joking?
Yeah, so I just was straight there could be a market there for us. We go on there.
Well, imagine if we charged $250 a shovel and just gave them one from Bunnings with gold paint.
What's a shovel worth?
Oh no, $10, $50.
$50 and some gold paint. We're in the market.
All right, and so one of the other things, I don't know how my life got here a little bit, but I'm also sitting in
mine got me here either.
Yeah,
but here we
I'm
are.
also sitting in a podcast room and talking to you and everything else. So, now let's talk about So I wanted to talk about the Sannies, but then also we've spoken a bit about the Komatsu, Cat, Hitachi sort of
hold on the market.
Yeah. And so why'd you go with Sanny?
The straight away honest truth is the price point when I was starting sort of thing. I didn't I just didn't have enough money. Turns out I didn't. No, but at the same time, turns out I probably could have because, like we said, the finance will come easy. Someone's willing to lend you the money. It just depends on what interest rate you want to pay. But I went with the Sanny because I spoke to Ivan about this as well. I hopped in it and tried to find something that I didn't that I thought was wrong with it.
Yeah, but you're also sitting in a car park that you can't dig a hole in, really. Is that what it's like over there? Or
No, we're in a gravel. No, we're in a car park that's got gravel on it, so you can kind of do your thing, pull a bit of blue metal. But yeah, I just found it. I thought they were good. I thought inside was good. Maybe I won't use other brands' names, but there's other brands that are maybe not as finished as well. Is a good word for it.
But like, you know, in terms of an
Like
ergonomic...
Tesla screen setup's fucking epic.
Yeah, like they're big screens. They've got all of the stuff. Their aircon's cold. The heater's hot. The seat's pretty comfortable. It might not be the $20,000 seat that, you know, some of them have in it, but they're pretty close. It doesn't massage
your ass, but it does everything you need, you know.
Have they got heaters in them? Heaters or coolers?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't mind myself a cooled seat, just in case you want to know. Just in case there's a design engineer listening.
Design that in there.
Cooled seats. That's
possibly a fridge at the back as well with that rear section you get. That could be another little idea for them.
There we go. Yeah, look, trust me, no one's listening. So then, you couldn't find anything wrong with it and the money's all right? And is that just as simple as it is? Because you wouldn't have ever sat in one before, most likely. Mine sides don't have many sannies.
No. So that's what's been somewhat of an issue, is breaking that hold of like no one will take them up north at the moment. So all the work I'm doing is predominantly south due to the branding at the moment. There's a great story about a guy that had a Lugong digger and no one would take him. So he ripped all the stickers off and bought the cat sticker pack, stuck them all over it, got a job next week. So it's that branding, that figure.
Do they ask?
Some people do, yeah. Some people are very, what's the word for it? Aggressive about it as well. So if it's not a cat, or it's not a tier 1 as they'd say, so it's not a cat, a Hitachi or a Komatsu, thanks for coming, no good. I don't want to know you. But, you know, when you do the breakdown, say you buy a Hitachi 36, they've got the Isuzu 6HK motor. Sunny 36, it's got an Isuzu 6HK motor. Same fucking motor, different colour. Sumitomo piping, Hitachi piping, Kawasaki pumps, Hitachi pumps. It's there.
This is part of, and I don't ever want to make it a fucking Chinese versus anyone else podcast, you know, like, and I don't even talk about Chinese equipment that much, but when I went through it and you sit there and you go, Isuzu, they're the same, like it's the same. Like, and,
I get it. It's
and
orange.
I cannot hack like this. The big part for me is I can't hack. Some of these companies are building their diggers in China too, and they're building them.
We've been. What's next door to the Sani factory? We don't want to talk about what's next door.
We don't want to talk too much about next door.
Yeah,
but you know, you sit there and you go, they're building them the same in the same factories, you know, with, you know, the same people running the factories with the same machines, welding them. And I can't hack the design, because this is what else it can come down to. It's the design and the QA. So afterwards, if they've placed a Caterpillar QA, in my mind, on the top of a Chinese manufacturing facility, then there's a possibility that Chinese manufacturing facility has had to lift its quality, because they're saying, right, well, we're going to inspect the welds with an X-ray, which they might not have done before, and if we have a bad weld, we're going to cut it out and redo it. That might not have happened before. But at some point, there's a guy who leaves that factory, or there's a process that they get to find, or something else that they say, well, we should do the same because that's what Western markets want. And if they're wanting to sell to a Western market, eventually they're going to manufacture their machines the same. And in which case, why are we paying a premium for an Isuzu motor and the same motor?
Yeah.
Like it's not even...
It's not like, it's similar or it's the copied model. It's the fucking exact same thing.
It's the same. And I went through it a fair bit with Cummins. Like Cummins, you know, don't get me wrong, they have their...
Cummins are all in the XCMGs now, I think.
Yeah, but they call them the Donghua or something, Cummins. They actually have a Chinese model Cummins. It might be Donghua. I think it might be. But I'm also often wrong, and I always point out in my podcast when I'm wrong, please let me know that I'm a dickhead. But the Donghua Cummins, like, A, it's coming out of the same factory as the other Cummins, and B, that would mean that even if there is inferior parts or whatever else, they go in that one.
Yep.
And then the ones that they ship to Kenworth to put in their trucks are the same as the ones that they're putting in the whatever model truck that China's producing
Yep.
and then sending across.
Exactly. So that's kind of that. Like you say, what was the reason? I basically bought the same thing, but just got it for cheaper. Like, okay, it might have this or that little bit different stuff, but
How have you found it's gone? I haven't had enough time in them that I could categorically say what they're like to operate, as you can see.
I think like in the small amount of time I've had in it, which is like, well, I've had it now for 7 months or something.
How many hours you done in it?
840, I think, or
Okay.
840, 850 sort of thing.
So
I haven't found anything where I've gone, hey, this is weird, or why is it doing that? I found some little real weird, nerdy niche things, like when you've got your bucket hitch off or something, if you track forward with it without locking it back in, it might pull a little bit right. Just small things, nothing where I'm like, this is bad,
how's the trim? How's the bulk?
Bulk's sick. Bulk's awesome. Trim's really good. But the bulk, I was kind of like, holy shit, here we go.
Yeah.
You put it in P11, which I think is like, all the noise, all the berries.
Yeah, that's a spinal tap, turning the amp up to 11.
You just sit there and you can see your fuel ratio come through it. You're burning fuel, but you're moving.
Yeah, but I think that if you take on board a lot of the things about it, if you're burning fuel but moving cubes,
You're winning.
it's all good. As long as you're not on hourly rate, of course. But even if you are on hourly rate, you might need to turn it up this week because we need to move some earth. And if you won't, the next bloke will. So I don't think that separating that hourly hire game out too much from, needing to burn fuel or not, it's just an expense. And so, I've found that they will chew a little bit of juice.
When you put it through its paces, like we had some bigger days there of just bulk and loading all day. As one truck left, the next one arrived, sort of thing, all day for, we're doing 7 or 5 out there or something for about a week straight. Mm-hmm. That week there, I was filling it. I was filling it every. I get a full day and maybe a half day out of it.
How big's the tank on it?
I think it's 600.
So what's that? Maybe 400 a day or something.
Yeah,
and then
it's good chuff for just swinging
40
home.
litres an hour.
Yeah.
So do you know that the thing is all of the sales reps here will sit down and go, there is no way we don't do 40 litres an hour, blah, 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 blah. We're at 21.
What?
That's what they say.
Idling?
No. So once you take into account the fact that, over the lifetime of the digger, the max that you'd be doing is, let's say, that 40 litres an hour, and then the trim work, and then when you're tracking, and then all of these other bits and pieces, braking and blah, 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 that it actually ends up being that you'll, on average, burn 20 litres an hour. But, like, I've had a 36 tonne do 600 litres or 650 litres in a 12-hour shift. And all we were doing was moving cubes, and it's okay if you're moving them.
If you're moving them, yeah.
And so when we were really humming, you're burning through the fuel, and it's absolutely fine.
But I haven't found it to be like, holy shit, I've gone through that much already or something by any means. I think it's been pretty good.
Not that I like the know all about fuel burn, but I think that if you're smacking out a lot of cubes in a 35 tonne, 40 litres an hour for that really heavy week is fine. If it does 40 litres an hour, however, when you're trimming and slinging pipe,
different story.
That's a bit fucked, and I want to be happy with that. But I know that they don't.
Yeah.
The fuel usage has been fine. I don't think it's standout. In my opinion, Kobelco has the standout if you want a really fuel efficient machine. Kobelco's fantastic. I think my over 5,000 or 6,000 hours, my 35s, because we do a little bit of a thing on them, my 35s average like 18 or 19.
Do you know your 30, 35, 36 or whatever, they're actually nearly 38s?
The 365s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they only pay you 35 tonne rates.
Yeah, but you got a little bit bigger.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Just you've added another inch.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, probably a mil, but yeah. But yeah, they're for what they are, I think the power to weight ratio is good. Fuel burn good. Cab great. What was the lady's name from this morning, the operator that was there?
Taylor.
Yeah, legend. So I said to her, which was quite funny, I said, how do you feel about the quick hitch option with these things? And she obviously wasn't too happy about them, but I love it, even though it is quite annoying. That's probably something they could improve on. But, you've got to go click, click. That part can be a little bit how you going, but
No, explain that. Explain.
Okay,
like
so-
I haven't changed enough buckets that I.
oh
really
right. So
know.
you go. So what you go is you hit your Tesla screen. You've got to go machine selection down to where your quick hitch option is. You click that. Then you click over to change bucket. You click that. Then it'll say, "Are you sure you want to change it?" Then you hit OK. Then instead of it being on your left controller like it is on majority of diggers I've been in, not saying it is all, but majority that I've personally been in, you hold that button or one of your joystick buttons. On the Sunny, it's the opposite one, and you've got to push that button and wait while cracking your bucket and curling it up under itself. That's probably a little downfall. But when I was asking Taylor about it this morning, she was immediately like, it's this, I fucking hate that, rah, rah. I'm like, oh, it's not that bad though. But yeah, that's probably a little...
I don't know, because when I started, I had a half hitch that I had to pull the pin out of the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to get out and do it manually. It's a win, But
And then we went. I can remember when the double locking, tri lock, whatever the hell it is. The front tongue, back tongue, and the central block, so that the bucket doesn't fall off. I can remember when they came in, and my first quick hitch. Maybe second quick hitch that I got, I had to get out and put a red tongue blocker, like an actual piece of metal in the front pin.
To open or just to lock it back in?
To lock it in.
Oh, right.
So every
Yeah,
time
yeah,
I had
yeah.
to change the bucket, I had to get out, take out that block, get back in the machine, pick up the bucket, put back in the block.
Copy.
I think I'll still have a photo of it somewhere if we
You
remind
can get that
me at
out.
the end.
That'd be...
Yeah, I'll put it in. But then I can remember that it ended up being the fact that the quick hitches, they had these double locking things that, made it mechanical, drop down in front
drop,
of the front
fold
pin
under.
and all of that. Buckets aren't falling off and damaging shit as much these days anymore. But, it's much safer to be around a machine. Not saying that anyone should ever walk underneath a bucket, but, that's bad. But
Bad, not good.
yeah, I can remember my grandpa telling me a story about how they had an old Cato, real old banger from the 60s, that the bucket would just randomly fall off.
Just let go.
Just let go and just absolutely fall off, and that they really hated loading trucks with it because sometimes it would fall off and damage everything. Now,
Did they ever lose the bucket? The last bucket hit the horn like, beep, beep, yeah, good to go, mate. As he slew it out, he loses the bucket.
no, he
Heading
told
up
me
the
one
road.
he rolled on the top of the load and hit the cab.
Oh fuck, that's real bad.
That's real bad.
That's real bad. I was still looking at it more from a funny point of he's driving off the road and he's lost his bucket.
No.
Okay.
He told me the story about how it rolled on the top and landed on the cab. Now, it landed on the passenger side of the cab and damaged the truck. I don't know how much damage because, my grandpa's 95 years old. So when he was telling me the story, he was, the big parts were missing and, However, if you think from there to where we are now, if a bucket fell off of a machine while loading the truck, it'd be sight shut down.
100%.
Like absolutely, and isn't that great? Compared
it is
to
good,
my
yeah.
grandpa's truck drivers who are worried, like they're sitting in the cab going like this,
Shit, am I getting a bucket?
worried about something because Billy the day before had a bucket roll off of the thing, and now they're loading with the same one. But it just shows how far the industry has came. And although the quick hitch is annoying, is nowhere near.
I think it's just certain people's opinion. I wouldn't say it's annoying, but because you've got a few more buttons to hit, and if that's not like a problem to have,
if that's the cost of not having a bucket fall off of a tractor and hurt anyone, then I think that's not too bad. It takes an extra 20 seconds, but compared to getting out, banging pins out, and then you
haven't positioned it right, so then it's not moving. You've got to just crack it back a bit more so you can get that angle to.
Yeah, I've got some tilt hitches that I have to fold them all the way in, back tongue comes off, then get the back tongue out of the bucket, lock it back again for the back tongue to push that lets the front come off.
What hitches are they?
That's an AME hitch.
AME.
That's a tilt hitch, really good brand.
They are?
Aussie brand from Tasmania, Andrew Millwood is what it is, and he makes really tough hitches.
Put a hammer on them tough?
I've asked him myself, and this is he's never given me. He hasn't even given me a good warranty for this.
Oh, really?
You know, but I rang him up one day before I bought my first one. One of my mates, Tom, had had him, and so I decided to get one. And I rang him up and I said, I need to hammer. What's your rules around hammering sideways? And he goes, if it tilts that way, hammer all you fucking like. I don't care. And I said, what? And warranty's good? And he goes, yeah, they're not going to break with the right size hammer on them. Now, we may have put the wrong size hammer on, but that's the confidence you want from a guy from Tasmania who's sending you hitch over and, you know, want to put it on. So
that's really good.
Although expensive.
Nothing in this game's cheap.
Nothing in the game's cheap.
I mean, we're talking about a machine, say a 36-tonner, like we got it for free, but obviously there's still 400 grand in that price point of a machine there. Everything in this game is expensive. Anything goes wrong, it's never cheap.
Yeah, tell me about it. So, as we're starting to move to the end of the episode, what's next for Dirt Cartel?
There's a couple of jobs that I've gone ham for that I was kind of early in on, so hoping to get some wet hire on that, to be honest. I've shook hands, haven't signed the dotted line yet, but on a 50 as well. So that's...
On a 50? Did you get a Sani on as well?
Yeah.
That Sani 50 I've got's a good tractor.
Funny, do you know what motor it's got?
What motor?
You wouldn't read about it. It's got a nice Zuzu. Do you know what the Hitachi 50's got? Well, yeah, same sort of conversation. But, that's the plan with that. Try to get this work, some regional stuff. Try to stay out of the big players lane, as I'm just myself. I'm not a big company or anything.
So you're going to put on an operator?
More than likely, yeah. Or we'll go down the road of dry, but we'd rather not.
Okay, interesting. It's nice to hear someone with some plans that I can really dive into. What's your thoughts around putting on an operator?
I've already had one.
How'd it go?
Good.
Poor. That looks like it was poor. Did everyone just see his face go a little bit? It's okay because
it worked well for what it was at the time, and there's no. It was a, how would you describe it? It just didn't work out to the way of what the supervisor on site was after. And that's a hard thing, managing what your employee's saying versus your employer, like where your money's coming from. So dealing with that was a new thing, and no one trained you with it.
Yeah. So what did you do? Did you fuck it up?
Pretty much, yeah. More than likely, we resolved it at the time, got it sorted.
But then 2 weeks later, you're off the job.
No, we lasted another 3 months, but then we got the flick, yeah. But it's just that sort of situation there is a hard one. Trying to be the nice guy, also not get fucked at the same time, sort of thing.
It's really challenging. Like I had a guy on hire, and I'm hearing a few little niggles and stuff like that from the site. It was a site that I was running. I still have sites that I look after. And then we ended up getting the arse. And he's like, you finish up in a week. And I rang up and I'm like, what do you mean getting the arse? Like I've came there, I've looked at the job, I've spoken to you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like 3 or 4 minutes late to pre-start. And then you speak to him and he's like, I'm always early to pre-start. But the thing is getting there at 6:29 when the pre-start starts at 6:30 is not on time, to the person who's running it, because they're noticing the same guy coming in late every single day, right? And so, and then what is, you're the employer, but you're stuck then because you tell him to get there at 6:25, but he's not really late, but he's already got the guy offside, but he is late. Because, if the guy decides to start at 6:29 because everyone's there but one bloke, well, who's going to get the arse? Then I got a phone call, the last straw on that job, the 6:29 really pissed him off. The guy used to sit in his car smoking, probably watching TikToks, and then get out and then walk to the pre-start.
Yep.
So that pissed him off. And then we had, he had to spread mulch or something. And he dumped it in piles and didn't push it out. Then all of the boys came with rakes and he sat there watching them while they raked in the digger with nothing to do. And then they just said, no. Gotcha. And then you ring him and you go, hey, mate, how are you? And he goes, I'm not a labourer. I'm a digger operator. Oh. And you go, well, now you're a digger operator that we just lost the job.
Yeah.
So... Cool.
Got on the fucking rake.
But you also can't make them get on the rake, and they weren't employed to be on the rake. But at the same time, the successful ones and the guys who really hang around end up getting on the rakes. Everyone says
you get on everything so that you can stay there. You know, in that case, there you can be the world's greatest digger. Imagine you had a team of the world's greatest. It wouldn't work.
No.
You know,
no one's raking.
No one's raking. Everyone's talking around. I'm too fucking good. You know, I'm not doing that. So you need to just be versatile. Do anything in that case.
Well, yeah, I think that you get that if you ever go out on your own, and if anyone's looking to go out on their own, and if they think that when they have a repayment coming out at the end of the month for 10 grand on that digger, and you're not going to get out and rake because you know that they're looking at you like this and they're like, oh, we're going to fuck this bloke off. Like, he's not raking with it.
I'm bringing Portuguese tarts and muffins in each morning.
Yeah, I'm giving guys back massages and asking them if they need me to call them every morning.
Yep. Hey, Gone, good to see you. How's your weekend? How are the kids? Like, yeah, you're doing anything you can.
And it's just a different thing but you can't expect, like, I've probably came around a little bit more. Like, you know, back in the day, I would have blazed at that bloke about not raking and this and that because that's just stupid, yeah?
Yep.
By the way, it was 3 hours. It wasn't that they came and they raked a little bit. He spent all morning spreading it out with the digger as good as he could. But then it needed to be finished. There was no digger work for him, so he just sat there all afternoon. Bad luck.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, that was on a Wednesday. We got off-hired on the Friday. Yeah, like, and then it's like, oh shit, you know, why did this happen?
How did that take place?
You know, but I don't employ you to be what's the word? A raker. You know, that's not in your job description. Raking.
Oh, well,
however,
yeah.
Maybe sometimes it needs to be.
Sometimes you might need to be that rake guy. You know.
Okay, we got about 5 minutes left, I reckon.
Yep.
I always ask what people would like to say at the end of it, apart from the fact that you're currently horrendously jet lagged.
Yeah. No, we're hanging in there. We're doing well.
Yeah, you're doing very well.
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know what you meant to say, to be honest. Thanks for having me. Thanks for replying, probably. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. I do get that a little bit. People don't expect me to reply on my socials.
Honestly, I was like, what the? Are you the cold fucking kidding me?
But I run all of my socials. I still do. It's something that I enjoy, that I like. You know, whether you bought a yellow one, an orange one, a pink one, it doesn't really matter to me. I enjoy talking to people and engaging in what they're doing, because that's part of the really good part of this whole industry is the blokes that are in it and the people that are working in it.
That's probably a good point there. There's a lot of crew that are especially when starting out. Some people lead you down the garden path, but a lot of people, especially from where I'm from, have been nothing but legends about things. So thank you to them, I guess, as well.
Yeah,
they've been really good. Like we said, there was a week there where I'm telling you, I rang everybody. And I got some would you just piss off, mate? Like, why you call me? Had some people take the time to have a chat with me, so no one gave me any jobs.
You even messaged me if I had any gigs running, and I'm like, this bloke's going to cop a 20 grand float shift to get here.
I'll find a way to get it out of you.
You've got to track it. But also at the same time, if there's nothing cooking for you in Perth and it's a 20 grand float shift, the difference between going broke and not going broke.
I was looking at, like I say, I'm not joking. I was on the phone with some bloke about a subdivision in Brisbane. That couldn't have been more further if you tried on the angle. That's probably a 50 grand float. I wouldn't have a clue what it is, but I reckon
you could get it done for 30. I reckon there's a bloke.
Do you reckon you could move it for me?
No, but I reckon we could find a bloke. But, But
that was the sort of level I was going at. I was at the phone to people in Darwin, anywhere, because I just went, holy shit, what have you done? And make this work.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you can't teach that. I actually was texting one of my sales reps this morning. My office opens at 6 a.m. And this girl this morning texted before 6:01 and said, hi, I have a new customer starting today. I promised we would get his dirt done. Could you please check on those trucks? Now, you can't teach that. You can't teach someone to want to do that.
Yeah.
The want that she had to text about that before 6:01. She must have been waiting bing, like that, to say, I've got a new customer. I want to check on the truck so that I can make sure I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
I texted her and said, I can't teach that effort. thank you very much. A few other bits and pieces, but you can't teach the effort of, a guy who's just had his contract pulled, and then you are calling literally everyone you know in earth moving and people you don't know.
I was reaching out to people on Instagram that I literally didn't know. Just going, g'day, how you going? And then also hunting through things, finding like, what's the word? Just finding, there's a number there. Fuck it.
Bang.
G'day, how you going? Saying the wrong thing too. 100% saying the wrong thing. They're like, what an idiot. Good luck to him.
He's fucked.
You need much. Not a good start. I'm like, but no, and then there were people that had the time for me as well that didn't tell me, you're an idiot. What have you done, sort of thing. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
I think at some point we've all been there. We've all had stars in our eyes when we've gone and bought something.
You see, you just get a little taste of the glory.
Yeah, and I can remember when I went and bought that 14-tonner, my first one, and it came home and it was in Port Macquarie. And it came home and I had no work for it for 4 months. Now, I had work in a 3-ton and a truck and a bobcat and 7-ton. So it wasn't the end of the world. But fuck, if you have a 14-ton garden ornament for 3-4 months, you start to get a little bit twitchy.
Yeah.
And, and there's just people out there who want to help in that circumstance. And there's a lot of dicks too. It's a good industry to be part of.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you for coming over. Like, subscribe, comment. Jimmy from the Dirt Cartel, Perth. Looking forward to seeing what you do online.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Done. Thank you.